Okay, so the UK is in recession. My question is, what is recession? I went and spoke to Ian Berry and Eddie Dempsey so they could explain recession. You measure the economy of a country by looking at GDP, or gross domestic product, which is how much the country has produced and the services provided by that country for a year. A recession is a decline in GDP for 2 or more quarters of that year. So, how does a recession come about? Well, in a good year for businesses, they feel the future will be bright and they get overconfident, so start borrowing money to spend on assets such as fast cars or a yacht.
The previous administrations have perhaps borrowed too much. Normally a government would seek to balance taxation as a source of income, borrowing as a source of income, against what they have to spend.
Sure.
And if not within a year, then certainly over what they would call an economic cycle, because sometimes when it's good, more money will flow into the treasury.
Well, there's no one thing that caused the recession to happen, but a combination of things, as there always are, and it's quite a complex world we live in. But if you want to define it as one thing, it's probably that we all thought it was only ever going to get better. People got what they couldn't have got hold of before. They kept borrowing more to fund that, including governments. And when that inevitably came to a halt, and it usually comes to a halt suddenly, that's where we got into the massive problems we've got at the moment, principally around the whole structure of capitalism, if you like.
So, to find out what it was like for businesses who were working through the recession, I went and spoke to a small business owner, Simon Corsini.
I don't know, I've been here 7 years, so it's very hard at the moment. I'm one staff down. I don't look to replace him at the moment. Because if I do it myself, I don't have to look for that extra wage every week. I'm the boss, I'm washing up. It's easy if I do it myself than pay somebody minimum wage. Minimum wage isn't a lot these days, but £200 plus taxes on top, it's a lot of money.
Do you have to put your prices up at all?
It's very difficult. You know, everyone's scrimping and saving out there, and everyone's careful in spending, and it hasn't affected me crazily amounts because, you know, I'm low end of the restaurant. It's the higher. If you own a restaurant these days, boy, you're struggling. Who goes out these days with their wife and kids for a restaurant meal? You know, it's going to cost them 40, 50, 60 quid. Here then come in, have a breakfast, cost them 12 quid, get their kids out. Makes it a little bit easier, isn't it, the low end? You know, at the moment they say McDonald's and pizza places and they're all booming. But it's just the way it is at the moment, you know?
I also spoke to Peter Patel, owner of JP Supermarket, and he gave me his views on the recession.
Effectively. Well, been here 27 years, and this year has been the worst. We are fortunate in the sense that we haven't borrowed any money on the business because we are established. Then you borrowed money on the business, and if your business is quiet, your business is not making money, the banks ain't going to understand that. The banks are going to come straight for you the first month when you have to make the payment. They're going to look for their money. If not, they may give you a little bit of time, but after that, they're going to come for you and they're going to take your house.
You just do as you're told. Yeah, you do as you're told.
It's not affected me personally to that extent, but I have noticed things like the cost of filling up the car has gone up, particularly with the excise duty increase on the fuel and the VAT now going up to 20%. I've noticed that the price of things in shops has gradually crept up.
I would say we're probably in the relatively lucky category. Both my wife and I are working, and I think Lord Young said a little while ago, and it was taken out of context, for those people who are working with a very low interest rate environment and perhaps a mortgage or even a very small mortgage, they're probably better off in relative terms to a lot of other people, and that's probably true. We are, have cut back on certain things, because there's no certainty that any of us will have a job tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. There is no quick fix. There is no quick fix. The bottom line is that this country has spent money supporting people who have very little skills to export to the rest of the world. And so it is a long-term problem. People have to want to work, they have to learn new skills, they have to make themselves competitive in a global world. And so it's a long-term structural fix. In the meantime, the government simply has to stop spending as much money as it has done, and people do have to realise that they have to earn their way in the world. The world does not necessarily just owe them a living.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you